What is up, CineNerds?
I am JP.
And I am Ryan. And we have a good one for you today. This will be interesting.
Yeah, Ryan. So I had some dilemmas. I had a lot of dilemmas. So Ryan asked me, or he said, he goes, "When we do, like top, well, you actually said top three, but I was thinking top five, doing top five, B movies, favorite B films," and he left it at that. So you can't say something like favorite B films to me because that's so broad. It's so broad in my head. Like I go, is it favorite horror B films? Is it favorite sci-fi B films? Is it favorite action B films? Is it favorite sci-fi action? Is it favorite horror sci-fi? Is it? I have so many questions here.
I went further with that, and I was like, okay, what defines a B movie? Is it the budget? Is it minimal use and complete cheese? Is it a good movie that just had a low budget? There's so many different elements and ways to look at this.
And we landed on sci-fi B films, and
wait. Landed on sci-fi horror B films.
Oh, did we? Was it sci-fi horror?
I didn't. I kind of put horror in there.
I just thought it was sci-fi.
I forgot about that.
Fuck me.
Okay, that might change a lot.
We're all screwed now because mine would be completely different.
No. I can reel this in. We're good. I got us. It's all right. Yeah, I think I'm good. Actually, it works well.
Okay.
I've got to move two of my movies out of here.
Okay. Because, yeah, my whole list would be completely different for horror sci-fi.
Damn it. Okay, well, while we're discussing this, but I do want to read this real quick. So I got to take the glasses off because up close I can see just perfectly.
So you're going to describe what B film is?
Yeah, because this one. So to tell me what you think a B film is to you.
For me,
Let's start with that.
For me, For me, I think the perfect example of a perfect B film is everything Roger Corman did. It depends. You pump out as many exploitation films of whatever is popular at that point in time at a low budget, and just to make some fucking money, just quick buck on what capitalize. You're exploiting what is popular in that moment, whether it be breakdancing, whether it be a sci-fi film because of Star Wars came out, or if it's a fantasy film because Excalibur came out. It's to me a good B film is a good exploitation film, and I think Roger Corman understood that, and it worked well for him for 60, 70 years. So
I asked Google.
Google is wrong.
I actually liked where this came from. This actually made a lot of sense to me where the B movie thing came from. So I'm going to read it. This is what Google AI gave back to me when I asked what the definition of a B movie was. A B movie or a B film is a type of cheap, low-budget commercial motion picture. Originally, during the golden age of Hollywood, this term specifically referred to films meant to be shown as the lesser-known second half of a double feature, somewhat similar to the B-sides in a record for musicians. So that was an interesting take to me.
That is very similar to what I said, but in a different wording.
But the way that it says the B-side, though, they're
saying B-side, and I'm saying exploitation. I mean,
exploitation though, I can go that's a little looser.
Yeah, but it's essentially what it is. I mean, you it's just exploitation of whatever's popular at that time, and essentially you're doing you're kind of doing the same.
All right. Well, so in that vein, there's still a lot of bigger movies that can be considered B movies, and there's a lot of smaller movies.
There is, and I will say I picked some. I've got a pretty big list. I'm just going to be fucking real with you.
I have my top 5, but then I've got extras too.
I've got a top 5 sci-fi B films, and I've got extra ones to mention. And honestly, I opted for a lot of the ones I added are some of my favorites, and some of them are just lesser unknown films that I know I've got one on my list that I don't know anybody else other than one person that knows the film, and it's actually one of my all-time favorite science fiction films.
We'll have to wait till we get there because I'm curious now. So don't tell me.
Yeah, no, we're going to get there.
Okay.
We're going to get there.
Well, then let's get into this. Do you want to go first? Or
It don't matter. You want to rock, paper, scissors it again?
Sure. Let's rock, paper, scissors. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I fucked up.
Yeah, you did. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. God damn it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right.
Do you want me to go or you go?
Go ahead. Go first.
All right. So we are going to go to my number 5. And this is a movie that came out, and I didn't look at the date on when I didn't. Like the last time we did a top 5, I actually put the year of every film. I didn't do that this time. I fucked up. So I don't remember what year this came out. I'm pretty sure it was early 90s. Class of 1999. Did you ever see this one?
Mm-mm.
It's a science fiction film where the some of the teachers in the high school have been replaced by cyborgs, and they kind of go haywire and start killing students. And it's in like a post-apocalyptic kind of, not really post-apocalyptic, but just a future of gang warfare, and this high school is just nothing but gangs and shootouts and guns everywhere. And the neighborhood the schools are in are just gang warfare. I mean, it's just a war zone. And you have all these cyborg teachers that decide they're going to deal with these gangs and start killing random fucking kids and making it look like accidents. And it's a movie that I saw, my young, early teenage and preteen years, and I just absolutely fucking loved this film. The main guy in it, I can't think of his name. He hasn't been in a lot of films. He is one of the Kiefer Sutherland's cronies in Stand By Me. He does play in that. There is some recognizable faces in it. It's just one of those films. I don't know. You got to see it. And you can watch it for free on, I think, Tubi, or you can buy it on Vudu or whatever. But it is available. It is one of these that you can readily find out here on some streaming services, and I know it is on Tubi for free. So
most of the old ones in the B movies are pretty easy to find.
Yeah,
most of them.
Yeah, and Tubi is a great area for a lot of the great old ones. They have so much stuff that is available. They have shit on there that I wouldn't even think would be available, and fuck, they have it.
Coming in number 5 for me is Plan 9 from Outer Space. Ed Wood, 1957 movie. That's the year my pops was born. Essentially, it's aliens coming to Earth, the dead coming back to life, and all hell breaking loose in the cheesiest, horrible setting you can think of. And it's, Ed Wood to me made some quality class cinema, but it was still, when you're watching it, you're like, what am I watching? Even me seeing it the first time, when I was 12, my first band was named Plan 9 because of this.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite characters' names came from a Ed Wood film, which was Glenn and Glenda. From Child's Play, or Chucky. I won't say Child's Play. He was in Chucky.
That's the record label for the Misfits. Is Plan 9. I think it's just Plan 9.
Yeah.
Something recordings or something.
So yeah, I like Plan 9, and I love Tim Burton's Ed Wood film. I think that's a great film.
I didn't watch it.
Really?
I haven't watched
it. It's a great film.
I mean, my only thing with Burton was his overuse of Johnny Depp, and that's who plays Ed Wood.
Yeah, but that was pre their that was kind of the first film one of the first films that they did outside of, I can't remember if that came first or if Edward Scissorhands did, but it was still early Tim Burton Johnny Depp, so it wasn't like overused Johnny Depp Tim Burton. And it's Ed Wood is actually one of my favorite Tim Burton films. I would actually go Big Fish.
I love Big Fish.
I would go Big Fish, Ed Wood, then Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then Mars Attacks as my top 4 favorite Tim Burton.
Mars Attacks. I haven't watched it in a long time.
So,
it's an amazing movie.
So yeah, if you've not seen Ed Wood, and especially if you're a fan of Plan 9 from Outer Space, yeah, give it a watch. It's fun.
All right.
My number 4. So this is the one that is you cannot find, and the one that nobody I ever talked to has ever heard about. I have a copy of this on a restored 2K restoration on Blu-ray, and I had to order it from the director because it's not even being distributed by any studio. So I actually had to order it from the original director, and he signed it and actually mailed it to me. It's an 80s film called Remote Control. You remember this one?
That sounds really familiar.
Okay, so when I tell you the cast in this, you're going to be really surprised of why in the fuck is this film not available? Because when I say, oh, it's an 80s film, it's not available, the only way you can get it is from the director, it sounds like some low-budget piece of shit that just was, not even like a usable film. No, this film is so good. And it stars, the main cast is Kevin Dillon, Shawnee Smith.
At the time, she was fucking smoking hot.
And at the time, this is in her young days, and Jennifer fucking Tilly is in this film. Like, this film has a great cast, and the whole film is basically aliens are trying to take over the world, and they're doing it by remote control. They're controlling your brain from the TV, from a VHS, from a movie called Remote Control that people are renting.
So it's like Halloween 3.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but better.
Is this it?
That is it. And this film is so fucking good, and it's like everything about it feels like a 1950s science fiction film, but done in the 80s, which is exactly. I have the same feelings about this film as I do The Blob with Kevin Dillon. And you know what? I said Shawnee Smith is in this, but she may not because I might be thinking of The Blob. But I do know it's Kevin Dillon and Jennifer Tilly.
Definitely Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. I may be wrong on the Shawnee Smith.
I don't see her.
Okay, I'm probably getting The Blob mixed in. But regardless, the cast is great. And the film is so fucking good. I mean, like I said, if you love 1950s science fiction, but done more in 80s modern, kind of like what The Blob was, or even what Tim Burton did with Mars Attacks, this film, you're going to fucking love it. It is absolutely amazing.
All right.
But the thing that sucks about it is you got to special order the fucking video from the director.
Or, I mean, like, JP can borrow it.
You can borrow it. You can borrow it. But you guys out there, you can look up this film, look up the director, go to his website. You can actually order this from his website. And I will tell you, it's worth it.
Jeff Lieberman.
That's his name. Look up Jeff Lieberman. And, I'm going to look this guy up. I would love to have this guy as a guest on our show. Like, I bet you this is a guy that we could probably get on here really easy. If he hasn't passed away now, because he's probably up there in age.
He's in his 70s, 77.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, check it out because I can't talk more highly about a low budget film than I can this film. Like this is like The Blob for me, but it's not The Blob.
Well, so I think I'm going to have to. If this is the one I'm talking about, hold on one sec.
He's looking stuff up.
I am, because I did have to rearrange because I included horror. So
yeah, we fucked up.
I fucked up. The ones I took out of my top 5, just so you know, because I will give reference to those because they're amazing horror, is Return of the Living Dead, OG, and then Dead Alive. Those were staples for me. So I had
those would probably be honorable mentions in a horror sci-fi or a horror list.
All right, my number. What were we at? 4.
I just did 4.
Yeah, so my number 4 would be you can see this on Netflix. At least I could. I don't know if you still can. It's It's on Tubi as well, but it's called Tokyo Gore Police, and it is Japanese. It's got a little touch of horror in there, but there's a sci-fi element. Um, Essentially, people are getting taken over, and they can use parts of their body and their limbs get cut off to attack other people. And Tokyo's going haywire and rampant with zombies and a crazy weird outbreak. However, the best part about this kind of definitively to me is a B movie to the fullest, because when they're blowing things up and buildings are getting blown apart, and you see the bricks falling down, you can evidently see that they are foam bricks. These are bouncing all over the place, and it definitely gets cheesy. And imagine, if you will, when these parts of the body that are getting cut off, when the parts of the body are getting cut off and becoming their own entities and doing things, there's a Power Rangers element, if you will, where, because it's Japanese and it has that vibe to it. So it was just an amazing. It's probably one of my first real B movies I watched. I was like, holy shit, this is so bad it's good. It was one of those moments for JP. There's even a part where all limbs are severed off of a person while they're spinning in the air, and their torso is just spinning around, killing people, turning into swords, and it's amazing. So. So Tokyo Gore Police, currently on Tubi, which is also a free app to download.
So my number 3, and actually it's 3 films, but the 3 films are loose sequels to the original. And the reason I included them was because I'm one of the few people that prefer the sequels to the original, even though the original is more well known. Robot Jocks.
Oh, I remember this.
Robot Jocks. Everybody remembers Robot Jocks. And it is a low-budget science fiction film. It's it's giant robots, rock'em sock'em, giant robots.
And just to intervene here, just to talk a little bit too, like, I still, even though it was low budget, I feel like they did very well for what they had to work with.
Oh, yeah. No, they absolutely did. Now, the thing with Robot Jocks is it has loosely 2 sequels. And a lot of people don't know about it, or those who realize it. The second one is actually called Robot Wars. I fucking love Robot Wars. Robot Wars is a low budget, just a little bit more of a low budget version of Robot Jocks, and kind of the same premise, but they're not actually in an arena. They're out on a planet and fighting. Then there's a third sequel called Crash and Burn, which stars Bill Moseley.
I didn't know there's a third.
It's called Crash and Burn, and it stars Bill Moseley, and it is more of a horror film. And Crash and Burn is actually, it's such a fucking good movie. I think those 2 sequels are better than Robot Jocks, better than the original. And Crash and Burn alone, just the horror element of that film is so fucking good. Like, if you've not seen it, check these out. Like, I think all these are actually on Tubi. I'm pretty sure. I know I have seen these at least available between like Amazon Prime, Tubi, Freevee, and Pluto. So these are out there. You can find Robot Jocks, you can find Robot Wars, you can find Crash and Burn, and check them out. They are so fucking good. And for all you that have seen Robot Jocks, if you've not seen Robot Wars and Crash and Burn, go find them, because they're better. They're way, in my opinion, they're way better than Robot Jocks.
That's a decent one. I'm good with that. And now I want to see Crash and Burn though, because I've only seen the first 2. And again, those were 1980s watches.
Yeah.
Because isn't the second one Robot Wars? That was 80s as
well?
It
was 80s as well, and Crash and Burn was in 90s.
Okay. All right, so number 3 for me, also kind of on the verge of horror, but sci-fi. Chud. Remember Chud?
I like Chud. I like the sequel better than the first one, though.
Sequel's not bad.
Bud the Chud. I love Bud the Chud.
I do like the first one better though. And so basically, people start going missing. There's things going on beneath the streets, beneath the sewers, and there are creatures living in the sewers that begin to start feeding on people. CHUD, by the way, is an acronym for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller. And that should basically give you your premise right there in itself. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend a watch once or twice. And the cool thing, one of the cool little side notes of this, it's got decent cast in it. John Hurd plays George Cooper. He's when you see his face, you'll know him. But one of the more minor roles, one of the tiniest little roles, he's literally a security guard, police officer in an entry of somewhere. It's John Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
John Goodman is in this, and that was the same year. He also had another small role in another movie called Revenge of the Nerds that year.
Mm-hmm.
So John Goodman being in this was kind of a cool little moment when you see him in the background and a much younger John Goodman. So yeah, if you haven't seen Chud, I don't really want to get into that one too much because that one is worth a watch. Please give it a go, check it out, and let me know what you think.
Bounce off of that one. Like I said, Chud 2, Bud to Chud. Man, I prefer that one. Like, go watch the first one, but as soon as you finish the first one, dive into the second one because, man, Bud to Chud is fucking amazing.
All
right, so my number 2. Now, this is another one that is a hard-to-find one, and it is not available on digital, and this is a Corey Haim film. And that is, it seems like there's something with his, I'm assuming his mom that owns his,
the license
to his name and stuff. A lot of everything that he did that was not released by a major studio, you cannot find any of it streaming on DVD, Blu-ray anymore. You can find like old prints of it still on DVD and stuff, but unless you're trying to find Lost Boys or License to Drive or Lucas, you're not going to find.
Oh, Lucas, that was a great.
You're not going to find his other films like Fast Getaway 2. You might find Fast Getaway, but you're not going to find Fast Getaway 2. You're not going to find Dream a Little Dream 2. You're not going to find a number of his catalog. You're not like Double O Kid and Demolition High, like all these films that he did after his career started going downhill, which I think are fun films. You're not going to find it because his I'm assuming his mom has the licenses and is not releasing any of this stuff out, which I think sucks. Because one of my favorite low budget films, which is what comes in at my number 2, stars Corey Haim, and it also stars Patricia Arquette, which is Prayer of the Roller Boys.
Oh, hell yeah. I forgot about that. That's great.
I love Prayer of the Roller Boys. It's a great science fiction film, post-apocalyptic science fiction film. The gangs in L.A. are, I think they're in L.A. They're in California, Southern California someplace. I think it's L.A. Are taking over, buying property, buying buildings while they're selling drugs to the kids, and they're constantly going by what this chant, Day of the Rope, which is what they were telling the day they get even with everybody. They're also, the drugs they're selling are making people sterile because they're trying to thin out the herd of people because they want to build a new society. They're almost Nazi-like, the Roller Boys. This film is so good, and Corey Haim is great in it. Patricia Arquette's great in it. Like this, it has a perfect blend of cheesiness and just I don't know. It's such a good film, and I can't think of his name, but the guy that plays Lucifer in Supernatural, he's in this film. It's one of his earlier roles. There's a lot of younger, recognizable people in this film. Unfortunate thing, like I was saying, you can't stream it. You can't find it. You can probably go on YouTube and find something on YouTube. There is a DVD copy of this out. You can find it on DVD. I don't think there was ever a Blu-ray copy. I do have a DVD copy of this film, though. So it is probably out of print, but you can probably still find the copy of it to buy.
You can rent or buy on Amazon.
I bet if you click on it, it's actually going to say it's available. I bet it's only available in certain countries, I bet. Because I bet if you open it in Amazon Prime, I bet it'll say not available in this country.
Mine went right to Amazon.
Yeah.
It's selling, so yeah, it's not even showing it.
Yep. So yeah, it's one of those.
There's a DVD copy for $40.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you can find it on DVD, but your better bet is to go on YouTube, and you can probably find a pretty good transfer of that DVD copy to find and watch. Other than that, yeah, this movie is one that I would love to see a resurrection of. So,
all right. Well, you're already glancing over, so you're probably knowing where I'm at now. Are we at 2 already?
yeah, it was my 2.
Yeah. Jesus, there's so many B movies that this could be a multiple portion. But for this list, for this purpose of this list, I think I'm gonna switch them. I think I'm gonna put my number 2 at 1 and my 1 at 2. My number 2 is gonna be Pitch Black, which is the first installment in the Riddick Chronicles of Riddick franchise. I know I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan by any means, but something about this character, the way that he was introduced in Pitch Black is amazing. It was a low budget film. It was a amazing cast. Claudia Black, Vin Diesel. I mean, just a crushing, amazing story. Decent aliens, prison planet. They introduced Riddick's character without even really giving backstory. They just jump right into it, and he's kind of the anti-hero, and the way that the whole movie progresses and builds, he becomes more and more of the hero, and you start rooting for this guy who's supposed to be the ultimate villain in the way they start out with this movie. The sheriff in that one too, in that first one, I forgot his name, but he was a 90s actor.
Yeah, he's still around. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's oh God, we're idiots. He's like one of the most biggest actors in the fucking world right now in Yellowstone.
Is he in Yellowstone?
Yeah, he's the main guy in Yellowstone.
No, he's not.
100%.
Maybe in the newer season.
No, every fucking season.
Well, that's Kevin Costner, so that's not
no
right.
The one that marries his daughter.
No. Oh, maybe he is one of the jail guys.
Yeah, he was also in Dazed and Confused.
That dude's not that old, really?
Yeah. I'm pulling his IMDb up right now.
Pull that up. But yeah, so Pitch Black, director, Jesus, I forgot who the director is for that. Let me pull that up.
Cole Hauser plays Rip in Yellowstone.
And he's in Pitch Black, huh? That's the same dude?
That is him, and he was also.
It doesn't even look like him.
That was also him in He's also him in Dazed and Confused. Yeah.
Yeah, he had blonde curly hair in Pitch Black, so that threw me all off. He's in the video game too, so I played the Pitch Black video game as well.
Yep.
There's another Riddick segment that's in between the video game Pitch Black and that era. But the director is, let's see, David Toy. Who also, by the way, there's a little independent anime that's in there called Dark Fury. It's in the franchise too that he directed. The animation's done by the same people who did Eon Flux in the animation. So definitely gets into a whole franchise setup. There's supposed to be, I'll believe it when I see it, there's supposed to be another one in the future.
I keep hearing that the new film is coming, but
Vin Diesel's fighting for it. He's trying. So
they've been trying.
The last one was meh.
You know what? This is my thing. I love Pitch Black. Chronicles of Riddick, it could have been good.
I thought it was awesome.
It could have been so much better than what it was. Riddick was great, other than it was just a rehash of Pitch Black.
Yeah, it was just like they redid another Pitch Black.
But it was great. It was just, which one do you rather watch, Pitch Black or? That's why I like it. Yeah, Katie Sackhoff. But yeah, I mean the original Pitch Black though is fucking iconic. What they did with the sequel really should have set more of a Conan the Barbarian type series, and it just hasn't played out that way.
No.
So
But I like how they. So I think that's addressed in the cartoon in the anime, because he basically doesn't want to be that. He doesn't want anything to do with that. He likes his solidarity, and I think once they introduce Furia and all that storyline too, he's more obsessed with who he was and where he comes from. So I'm that's one of those characters where you don't expect a good movie. You get a good movie. It was low budget. Then it turned into a big budget blockbuster for Chronicles of Riddick, and it proceeded from there. So, but yeah, that was my number 2.
well, my number 1, and I went with actually what I feel is a more popular '80s film, and it's one of my favorites, Night of the Comet.
I almost put this and Night of the Creeps on mine.
I love Night of the Creeps too. I almost put Night of the Creeps, but Night of the Creeps I decided was horror B film, where I decided Night of the Comet was
But science fiction. Night of the Creeps.
I still think it's more horror, where
okay.
I think Night of the Comet is more sci-fi. They're both horror sci-fi. We can both agree there. But I think Night of the Comet does fall more into a sci-fi genre versus horror sci-fi, compared to Night of the Creeps. But if you've never seen Night of the Comet comes over, half the people are turned to dust, and then whoever's left is kind of turned into zombies that are deteriorating until they kind of die. And you have a few survivors that find each other in a radio station, and it escalates from there. There's a government facility that they're trying to find a cure for what this comet has done. But most of humanity is just gone. They're dead.
And you can see their silhouettes of where they were standing when it happened.
Yeah.
So
and it's a solid film. And it's another one you can find on I think you can find it on Tubi, and I'm sure you can find Night of the Comet on multiple streaming services. Sure. It's out there, and you have the cast in it is really, really, really good. You have what's his name from what was that old TV series?
I don't know.
Well, you have Catherine Mary Stewart, you have Kelly Maroney, and then Robert Beltran, which is who I'm thinking of, and I'm trying to think of what he was famous for, and it's not coming to me. And well, Star Trek Voyager, but there's an old TV series or something. I'm dragging, but
it's an amazing movie.
It's an amazing film.
If you're somebody who likes a science fiction approach to end of the world scenarios, it's definitely up your alley, and you should check it out.
It has a very Roger Corman feel, and I'm not sure if that was actually. I think it might actually been his studio that did it, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might have been what was that, New World Pictures that did it. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely feels like it could have been, if not. So, alrighty.
That was your number 1?
That was my number 1. All right. I've got a bunch of honorable mentions, but
I've got honorable mentions too. But my number 1, and this probably isn't a shocker to JP. It's probably not a shocker to most people who know me. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and it does have a horror element, but it is definitely science fiction to me, because it's clowns that are actually aliens coming down
from outer space.
Yeah. And it's so cheesy but delightful in the way they go about it. I mean, even the way that they kill people and cocoon them in cotton candy balls and then drink them with straws.
They have cotton candy guns.
Yes. And they're pretty amazing. And just their faces, they have the clown look, but then they also, there clearly is something off and disturbing about them, and their teeth and how everything comes together. You want to talk about practical effects? I enjoyed the ones in this. For what they had to work with, it was excellent. Definitely cheesy, without a doubt. So don't go into it thinking that you're going to get any kind of magical magical version of something. But it's just a good, fun watch. It makes the blood move for a minute. I enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed it. I think next year for Halloween, or this year, Jesus Christ, this year for Halloween, I think I'm gonna be one of the killer clowns. So
I love Killer Clowns, and I almost put it on my list, and I don't know why I took it off. I don't even have a good answer why I did, because I love this film.
I'll tell you why. Probably because if were like me, I was looking up lists for B movies just to see if something would ignite something that I forgot about. I was looking at different genres, forgetting that we chose sci-fi. And god damn, was there so many good movie options. There was so much to choose from. There were so many movies that I didn't even really categorize as B movies myself. And then I'm like, that technically is. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
And then also reading through some of these top lists, I was like, well, okay, now I'm intrigued. What's that one? What's that one?
Mm-hmm.
What's that one? I made a whole nother list of things I got to watch. So I went down the rabbit hole, and it's easy to.
I'm sure a lot of those that you wrote down lists that you want to watch, I've probably seen a lot of them. So yeah, I've got a handful of honorable mentions, and obviously, as all of you probably can guess, one of my honorable mentions is Radioactive Dreams.
I knew that was going to come in.
It was on there, and I put it on here because it's expected. I talk about it so much, and sure, I probably would have been in the top 5, but I talk about it so much. Why would I put it back into a top 5? You know,
and that was one of the first ones we covered,
mm-hmm.
and so that one definitively is a B movie without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, Radioactive Dreams is one of my mentions. Hardware. Do you remember the 1990s movie Hardware?
It's not coming to me, but
yeah, that one's a really solid one. It's basically this android head. His husband brings it home, and his wife to do like a project with it, but the head comes to life, and it escalates from there. Carnosaur. Yeah, I had to mention it. Another one of my favorites is I Come in Peace.
That was an awesome movie.
It was on my list, and it was originally in my top 5 list, and I took it out to put Now the Comet in it.
I Come in Peace.
And I love I Come as Peace. Sometimes you have to look it up as Dark Angel. It comes up as both.
Did you just say I Come as Peace?
I Come as Peace.
It's I Come in Peace.
I Come in Peace.
Either way. Anyways.
But sometimes you have to look it up as Dark Angel, but it's a Dolph Lundgren science fiction cop film, alien cop film. It's a wild ride. That's all I can say. And you can find that one. Like I said, if you look it up as I Come in Peace or Dark Angel, it's going to come up.
That one for me is like either peak or just after peak Dolph Lundgren career.
Oh yeah.
And he's still doing great stuff, and the way he holds himself, it's solid. I dig that movie.
My last honorable mention is Rowdy Piper's
They Live.
Hell Came to Frogtown.
You told me about this when we talked about They Live,
yeah.
but I didn't see it yet.
Hell Came to Frogtown is so good, and it's a straight up. I don't even know what studio did it. I have to imagine it's probably a Roger Corman film. Hell, it could be a trauma film. I don't know. I need to look that up, but it feels like a Roger Corman film, like post-apocalyptic Rowdy Piper going through a fucking wasteland, and he has to go to Frogtown. What's in Frogtown? Humanoid frogs. Yeah, that happens.
All right. My honorable mention list is, let's see, Critters. That was on the list.
Critters 2, the whole series of Critters.
Yeah, Critters is great. Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Class of Nukem High.
I started to have that one on my list. Yeah.
Sharknado.
Yeah, I thought about those too because I do love those Sharknado movies.
The Sci-Fi Channel was ahead of its time for sure with doing that kind of stuff. And then these are just 2 movies that were at the top of a lot of the lists I was looking at. They might be more horror, but I don't know. I'll let you know. Tell me if you've seen them. Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Love Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Actually, okay. Funny story.
Apparently
about
he knows it.
I fucking love Hard Ticket to Hawaii. But there's this thing. Have you ever seen? You've seen Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
No, it's why
okay.
I'm talking
Okay, so
about
you've never seen it.
It's on the list.
Okay, so like there's this whole series of films called the Triple B films, which is like Malibu Express, Hard Ticket to Hawaii. There's like fucking 15 of these films that are all sequels of each other. Hard Ticket to Hawaii is one of the early ones, which is actually probably my favorite in the series. But they're basically these pornographic spy films. Yeah. And like all the actresses are like fucking porn stars, and there is some soft porn stuff in it, but then it turns into like this espionage spy action film on top of it. But Hard Ticket to Hawaii has this thing where this very venomous giant snake gets loose in Hawaii, and it's not even like the big plot of the film. It's just a side plot to the film. The big plot is the owner of said snake is like some drug dealer or killer. I can't even remember now. So they're trying to actually find this guy to kill him. Well, they end up finding him towards the end of the film. Well, this giant snake, and it does pop up every now and then, it'll bite somebody, and then they immediately die. So by the end of this film, this snake jumps up out of a toilet and busts the toilet. It's like all up out of this toilet. Scared the fucking shit out of me. It's one of the only scenes in a film that's ever traumatized me as a child. I would hover over a fucking toilet for years after watching this film because I was afraid a fucking snake was going to come up out of the toilet and bite my ass.
So the snake isn't the issue for me. Mine is I started hearing stories when I was in my teens about this woman who was in Kentucky, and she stopped at the bathroom and went to sit down and go to the bathroom, and while she's sitting down, she got bit by a brown recluse, but she didn't know she got bit by it, and the way it progressed, it ended up killing her over time. But so I'm always horrified of spiders underneath the toilets.
Yeah. So yeah, it was because of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I hovered over a toilet for years. But there's some great deaths. There's some great gore in Hard Ticket to Hawaii. There is a lot of great gore and a lot of it's a fun ride, man.
All right. Well, that was one of the ones that kept coming in like top 3 on all these lists.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and then the other one was called The Room.
Oh, The Room's horrible.
It's horrible.
It is horrible. I mean, it's horribly bad, and you might like it for as bad as it is. I don't like it because I just don't. I think it's shit. What's his name? Green Goblin.
Defoe. Defoe.
Nope, the other one.
Oh, I don't know.
The son in the third one.
DeFranco. James DeFranco.
James DeFranco. He did a film that was a remake of The Room. Called was it Disaster Artist? The Disaster Artist. That's what that movie is about. It's actually him redoing the film, and it's like it's the whole thing about him actually filming The Room because the room is, yeah. Just dive into this, and you're
Okay.
going to find out. That I'm sure the people listening and watching, they a lot of them probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but The Room, Disaster Artist, check that out.
The whole premise of this particular episode, the reason that we wanted to bring it to your attention is because I do feel like in cinema there's a lot of push towards the blockbusters, a lot of push towards the films that are instant wins and instant gratification and eye candy, literally, where you're watching these explosions and action and everything's there's CGI everywhere. The B film takes it back kind of to the roots. It takes it back to where the artist and the director have to be thoroughly invested in it, and they have to care, and they have to try and get something from nothing built up with low funds to work with. In some cases, it's Kickstarters. These things all kind of matter and play relevance into movies. If you guys love movies like we do, then it's important to kind of delve into these and understand the complexity of some of these B movies. And if there's ones that are up your alley, then just Google B movies sci-fi, B movies drama, whatever it is, and you'll start seeing a lot of films that are more often than not they're going to be free. They'll be on Tubi, they'll be on free, any streaming service where there's free options, because usually these don't break the bank if they
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Tubi has my entire childhood on it. I mean, for real.
Dude, I love Tubi.
I do too.
Legit, you're not paying for the service. You're just literally they have their ads like any other place. It's free though, and then they have such a great library for nothing.
Yeah,
So,
and they have such a great library for these type of films, and it's so fucking amazing. Like I go through it, and I'm just like, I don't know what to watch because there's so much that I love to watch, and there's a lot of shit on there. If you know what you're looking for and you search for it, it'll come up, and like, but as you're flipping through what's on their main screen, it won't pop up. So it's like they've got so much more on there than what you actually see, and they're just doing the scrolling thing, you know.
JP and I primarily are horror sci-fi guys, obviously, if you guys haven't caught on to that. So we changed it up in the last couple of weeks. You've seen some different things come up, and these B movies reflect this also. But if you guys out there have a top 5 list of something you guys are interested in, throw it in the comments or send it to the 3cinenerds@gmail.com. Let us know, because we're open to trying to see some new things, to try and explore some new options, new things to view. So yeah, I'm even thinking about maybe a trivia episode.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? We could have some fun with this.
Yeah. Send us the input. You know, I get people that message me all the time, like, but yeah, send an email. That way Ryan can see it too, you know. And a lot of the times when people message me, I'm like, yeah, I've got this on my list of to watch or to do, but it's a long laundry list of to do list that I have, you know. So yeah.
Cool. Well, hopefully you guys got something out of our B movie little top 5 list. And if not, then on to the next episode. But for now, if you guys want to get a hold of us for anything, 3cinenerds@gmail.com. And as we've talked about in the prior episodes of 2025, we have Jesus, I keep doing that. We have our website up and rolling, and it's CineNerdsPodcast.com. So pop over and check that out.
All right. So give us a like this video, like this audio, heart this little audio you're listening to. Share it. Click share. Share it to your social media.
Finger hearts.
Share it to your social media. Subscribe. Hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Apple. Subscribe to our Spotify. If you're listening on one, go to the other. Follow us there. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple, Spotify. Follow us on all of them. Follow us on Facebook, so you can keep up to date. Invite your friends. And, you know, you can go to our page. Invite everybody to our Facebook page. Share our YouTube channel. Share our Spotify. Share our Apple, and just have it posted. You know, say and write a post. You say, hey, I love this show. Follow this guy. Follow these guys, and start listening. Write a review. Just go to our Apple Podcast, write a review. Go to our Facebook, write a review. Write a comment on the video on YouTube. We love it.
Love it.
Alrighty. And that is CineNerdsPodcast.com.
Sweet.
All right.
Later.
Later.